y'all. Welcome to Late Night with Bridget and Holly. I'm your host, Bridget.
And I'm your host, Holly.
And y'all, tonight we're going to talk about pet ownership and how much it costs. Anyhow, before we get into that, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell here on YouTube, or look for us on any of your favorite podcast channels. We're on every Tuesday and Friday night at 11 p.m. And if you don't have us on one of your favorite podcast channels, always hit me up at bridgetandholly@gmail.com and let us know, or if you have any other topics you want us to talk about. But Holly, we both are pet owners, honey.
Yes,
Is it
yes.
expensive for you?
Fuck yeah, it is because I've got two little prissy dogs, two little 4 or 5 pound. Well, Sadie's probably about 7 pounds. So I got a Maltipoo and a Maltese, and they have to be groomed. And just alone to get them groomed is $50. So I'm dropping $100 probably a month, unless I get them cut real short. Then I can do every 2 months, and there's sometimes I have to take them twice in a month. But the food, they eat different food than what Charlie does. He is our 80-pound lab, and it's the vet bills, are ridiculous, and it's just so expensive because I don't understand how they're more expensive than what we are, especially, and you probably maybe see this with Ruger, especially when it comes to some of their medicine,
Yeah,
like
I know.
heart protection, flea and tick pills, chews, or ointment, or whatever. Like they will take the same medicine that we take, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll be like 5 times more expensive. And I'm like, I can get this for either zero cost or $10.
Uh, I got one of my grand dog is trying to pay. He knows we're talking about dogs, so now he's trying to pay me
Uh,
attention. Come on, come on. Anyhow, so yes, it's very expensive, and so I'll tell you, like with Ruger, and like you said, if a dog has to have a special diet or specialty food or anything like that, it becomes extremely expensive.
Because Ruger has
Uh,
allergies. I know that's got to be very pricey.
Yeah, well, he ends up taking Ruger a month. He takes Galliprant, which is for his arthritis because he's getting old. He'll be 9, and it's $250 a month. And then
What?
his Apoquel, his allergy medicine, is $85 a month. So I pay almost $400 a month for his medication.
I didn't know you were paying that much.
Yep.
And there's no discount card that you can apply for, or oh my God. That's a car payment.
Mm-hmm.
That's a house payment. Well, down
And
here
that
that's
don't
a house
count that
payment.
his food is almost $100 a bag for a month.
What do you feed him? Because I know he's probably got to have something special because of his allergies and
No,
arthritis.
he eats. I when I for a long time I was cooking his meals.
I
Okay.
remember that. And y'all, if y'all hadn't seen it, y'all go to Bridget's, her original, like her main YouTube page, and she's got videos on there that show you how to cook, what you need, and everything. And it will save you money. Well, it did then. I don't know about now.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a lot to cook it. But what happened was, I will explain this, and you can go look at the recipes. But I highly recommend you get with a dog nutritionist, because with me, I would cook it with the lean turkey meat and the vegetables and the beef broth or chicken broth. But what had happened with Ruger was his kidney values started getting higher, and she felt like the food that I was feeding him was very rich in protein,
I was
and
gonna say
she
too
thought
much protein.
she thought maybe that was it. So she was wanting me to modify the recipe. And I'll be honest with you, I was like, before I get into all that, let me just feed him a good bag dog food. So I started doing research, and I wanted to know the dog food that had never had a recall in history. Never. The one that had the most was Purina, believe it or not.
Wow.
They had the most recalls. So I wanted to find a dog food that had never had any recalls, that had the highest food quality, because dog food quality goes by the AAFCO, I think it's called,
Uh huh.
or something like that. And the quality of food here in America for dogs, you could feed them trash. You some things
Yeah.
absolute trash, and it passed the
And that's
AAFCO.
insane because I mean I know they do shit like that for us, not to that extent, but they don't really care about us either when it comes to some of this processed food and shit. So I can imagine what passes for fucking dogs with them.
Right. So upon my research, the food that I found, it's actually made in Italy. And Italy, Italian food, and Italians hold a higher standard for food than we do when it comes to
Yeah,
stuff like that.
they do.
So it comes from Italy. They have had in their 50 years or 50, 60 years of making dog food, zero recalls, not even one. And it's
Wow.
Farmina. Farmina is an Italy brand, and it's made in Italy and imported here. And so that's what he eats. And him and Riggs love it. And my daughter is a vet tech, and her vet recommends Purina, and she won't feed it Purina. She feeds him Farmina. After she did her own
Oh
research, we
wow.
went with Farmina.
Now we feed the girls Little Caesars, which is the dog food that has the white dog on the front, and then Charlie eats pedigree is what we feed him. He eats pedigree.
Yeah. Um, I don't know who makes Little Caesars. I don't know the company behind them.
I
Um,
don't either. I hadn't researched. I've done research though to make sure it was okay for them and
yeah,
stuff. And I did know that pedigree is better than
yeah,
however you say it. I do know that because when we got the girls, when you buy dogs from her, she starts you off with like a little bundle, and it was all Purina dog food. And I hated not to use it, but we got the pedigree puppy food because it was
yeah,
better than the Purina.
yeah. I agree. I think so too. Well, that's what I say. You got dogs that have had special diets or special needs. And then, like you said, you have to worry about with big dogs. When you feed them, you have to worry about like, well, kennel them for about or make them rest for about an hour, hour and a half after they eat because big dogs are bad for their stomach flipping. Um,
Yes, that's
that's
so
what main
scary.
it is. But vet bills for dogs, and then my dogs go to daycare, the grand dog, and then Ruger, and daycare runs you $35 a day per dog. So you drop $70 in one day for
A
taking them both.
day.
Yes, a day.
Oh my God. And you do that how many times a week?
Two.
Yes, that's $140 for both of them to go for two
If they
days.
both go. Ruger hadn't been going lately because he's getting older. And at daycare, you got a lot of dogs like jumping and playing and fighting, and he's become less tolerant of that, like more grumpy as he's gotten older. And
Yeah,
so he'll do
that's
more
understandable.
corrections. So I take him
Now,
occasionally.
you take them, why? Just to get that interaction with other dogs?
Well, for a couple reasons, to burn off energy. I think dogs need exercise, and I firmly believe if you have a dog, they need to be socialized with other dogs. Otherwise, they can become very aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
that's
very
true.
territorial. They can become very
Yeah.
territorial. With small dogs, they can still do it, but with a large dog like this, they can do more
It's more
damage.
dangerous.
Yeah, it's more dangerous if they're not
Yeah.
socialized.
Little
Because
dog's gonna nip you and might draw a little bit of blood if that, but a big dog, you talking about maybe losing a limb.
yeah, that's right. That's right. So I do it to keep them to
Now,
burn energy and keep them socialized.
now, me and you love our fur babies so much. And Ruger is yours and Mr. Ronnie's, but he is more yours. That is your baby. Just like Charlie is Jason's, Sadie is JoJo's, Gracie is mine. They're all of our dogs, but we are individually their person. They love all of us, but they have their one person. Now, I would like to know how often do you buy toys and snacks like that for Ruger?
Are you kidding me? Every
Y'all look at
week.
that face. It ain't gonna be good.
Every week.
Every week.
He's got tons. Yes, I'm picking up toys. If I go out somewhere, I can go to a convenience store, and if I see a toy, I get it. If I go to Dollar General, if I run to the grocery store, I'm always picking up toys. He's got three bins, and I constantly throw them away because he tears them up. Yeah, I
That's
love
what I was
buying
gonna
him
ask you
toys.
because I'll do that with Gracie. Like I don't do it as much now. I did get a grip on it because she's so little. She don't really tear up toys.
Yeah.
Unless she'll dig that little squeaker thing out, which we talked about of why they did that, which is so cool. But her toys more just get like kind of dirty over time, even
Yeah.
if you wash them. Just them chewing on them. But I threw away. I filled up. The big, not the 13-gallon, but the leaf bags
Yes.
that you can get. I filled up a whole bag of her toys to throw out. And
Oh,
she even still has a lot of toys
mm,
because I've got like it's a little kennel. It's very roomy. It could be like a condo
yes.
apartment for her. And she
Oh.
don't go in there much, but the only time she does go in there if there's a lot going on
Uh-huh.
in the house, she's so little I don't want her to get stepped on. So that's where the majority of her toys are. But she likes the little stuff because she's little. So
Yeah.
anytime I'll go to the store and I'm like, oh my God, Gracie would love that because she can tote it around easy in her mouth and it's something she'll want to play fetch with.
And
But
see,
her
I'm always
favorite
buying the
toy,
bigger toys, trying to get as big as I can because they'll tear them up.
yes, and I don't know about Ruru, like if he has a specific toy that you always have to buy, but with Gracie, I always have to buy her the little lamb chop toys.
Oh.
She's got Christmas, she's got Halloween, she's got purple, brown, white, any little lamb chop, because they make the big ones, but they make the little ones. But anytime I see a new lamb chop toy for her, I get it. She loves them.
Oh, that's sweet. Ruger, I don't think
Does
he has a
Ruger have a
favorite.
favorite?
He'll pick a toy out that he really really likes for a while, and then it's like he'll keep it and love on it, and all of a sudden one day it's like, Gage laughs at me, my grandson, because he'll look. I told him this, and I said, Ruger will just look at a toy and be like, "It's your time to die, son," and he'll just tear it all to pieces. And Gage thinks that's so funny. He thinks that's hilarious.
That is hilarious. Now, with Ruger being 9, have you noticed any decreases on of how much he likes to play, or does he still like to play like he did when he was a puppy
He
and
still
younger?
loves to play. He's still like a puppy when it comes to that. He
And
loves to
see,
play
I
with
love
toys.
that because Bailey lived till she was almost 14, and up until she got sick to where she couldn't, she still loved to play fetch. And
Yeah,
I feel like when a dog is like that, I just feel like they're pretty healthy because they still want to play
that's
and
it.
do those things. Because you can tell when a dog is sick when they're
Yep,
declining. Because
yep,
that's the one thing that they cut out.
yep.
So I love that he's still doing that. That
He
warms my
does.
heart for you.
Exactly. So we know the cost of ownership financially. What about the cost of ownership in terms of sacrifice? Do you find yourself leaving places early or canceling plans or not going places because you want to be home with your dogs? Me too.
Yes, I do. I
Me
do.
too.
Because I know even though I've got Jason or JoJo here to take care of Gracie, I know what she's going through without me because she's a different dog.
Yeah.
It's like she gets depressed. She just lays there and sleeps and won't play and run around. She'll have her moments sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's a difference between night and day with her. That's how big of a difference it is when I'm not here.
Oh.
And it
That's the
hurts
way
my
Ruger
heart
is too.
because, yeah, I don't want her laying there sad, missing me. But I'm going to tell you the damnedest thing. I can get on the camera and call her name and talk to her and it don't face her. She don't get excited. She don't nothing. And I see
I
all
think
these
maybe
other
they don't
dogs on her.
understand. I think that you got to think a dog goes on senses, and she don't smell you. So even though she hears you, she's not relating it to you being there.
Have you ever done that with Ruger? Does he notice?
He
Like,
does. He'll tilt his head and hear it, but it's not like he wags his tail and gets excited.
yeah, like she'll just like look because she hears something, and I'm like, it's mommy. You
Do
don't hear
you
mommy
think they
talking.
think that they're hearing things?
Might be because they miss us so much, and they're like, and what was it you said? Like, so for example, I pretty much get home at 8 o'clock, and you said that our scent.
Okay,
What
so
is it?
I there was a study done that said a dog can tell time by the fate of your scent. So let's say, for instance, somebody has a normal routine of leaving for work at 8 a.m. and getting home at 5 p.m. Well, at 8 a.m. when you first leave, your scent is still real strong in the house. Well, as the day goes on, your scent fades. And so dogs get used to clocking the time of day by how strong your scent is in the house. So let's say it fades to 90% by 5 o'clock and there's only 10% of your scent left because they can smell a grain of rice in a as lipic size pool. That's how strong they smell.
That's
So
crazy.
they say that by the end of the day, like 4 or 5 o'clock, they know that 10% fade. Like, oh yeah, that's about the scent when mom comes home. So they know the time you're supposed to be coming home. So they'll go to the door and start watching, or they'll look for the window because they know that is the decrease of scent that has happened. Normally, that's your routine, and that's when you're supposed to come home.
And see,
Is that
that
not crazy?
amazes me because Jason and them, they'll tell me that it's so crazy because around 7:20, 7:30, Gracie starts getting hyper, going crazy, going to the door, barking,
Yep.
all of that. So my scent must wear off literally probably in about almost 11 hours, 10 and a
Yeah.
half hours.
She knows where that
That's
scent
so,
factor is.
isn't that crazy? I wonder if we smell good to them though. Like what scent are we giving off? Are we giving off our deodorant? Are we giving off our perfume, our lotion? Or is it like just our just body in general?
Body scent, but I will tell you something. Anytime you get a dog, you might not know this. Your dog marks you with their scent. So you're walking around, whether you know it
Really?
or not, smelling like your dog to a degree. Yes. They mark you with their scent. That's why they know you're theirs. You see what I'm saying? So in packs, in
Yeah.
animal packs, they all mark each other with their scent. So when they have a dog from their own pack come around, or maybe there's a dog from their own pack that's out in the dark and they sniff and they smell, they'll smell that familiar scent. They know they mark that. But with us, they mark us. So
Oh,
when you go around, that's why when another dog, you pet another dog and you come home, your dog smells it because that
they're
dog's tried to,
all over you.
yes, they tried to mark you their
Yeah.
scent
And
on you.
have you ever heard? I've done this with every dog that I've had. But they say if you take your dog's paw and run it all over your face, that if they ever like were to get lost from home or something like that, that they will know to get how to get back home from that. Have you ever heard of that?
Uh-uh.
Yep, every dog I've had, I'll take their paw and I run it all over my face.
But I have heard dogs like traveling a lot of miles to
Me
get back home.
too.
Hmm.
To
So, okay, so we
reconnect
talk
back with
about
their loved
coming
ones.
home early. So the cost of owning a pet in terms of sacrificing time, because my limit, I'll be honest with you, if no one is here with Ruger at all, no one, 4 hours is my limit. If I go to a wedding, if I go here, I'm like it starts getting 4 hours, and I'm like, I got to get home. I got to get home to my dog. Got to get, and not because he will hold
Right.
pee longer than that. He will hold potty longer than that. It has nothing to do with that. It's me knowing that he's by
He's
himself.
alone.
And I feel like his life
Yeah,
is, they only live 12 to 15 years. They got a little tiny short life. And you are their
they do.
entire world. You're their entire world. So why would you
Yep.
lock them up in the kennel or stay gone for hours and hours and hours of the day, not caring where they are and what they're doing, when all they look forward to is seeing you, you know?
And just being with you. You're
Now
exactly
here's
right.
another that I'm gonna touch base on this. The cost of owning dogs emotionally. What about when we lose them?
Girl, it's a heartbreak that is so different than any other. You know, it's been 2 years since Bailey's been gone, and I miss her so much. Hell, me and Jason rescued a pit bull named Rocky, most humblest pit bull you'd ever meet in your entire life. No aggression, wouldn't bark. He barked in what? He barked one time in the 5 years that we had him, and me and Tammy and her significant other at the time and Jason were walking Rocky, and there was a dead snake, and he barked and wouldn't let us go past it, and it was dead. So fucking humble. And he died from congestive heart failure because he was a stray dog, and he had heartworms. We treated him, but the vet didn't really know what damage had really been done because he didn't know how long he had been a stray dog and everything like that. And that still is heavy on my heart
Yeah.
because I love that dog so fucking much. You know, him him and Bailey. I've had dogs pass. I've had Lexi that passed. She was a miniature collie. I had Samantha who passed, who was a child. I had Sadie who passed, who was a child. Um, Augie, who was a child. We were child people growing up. He was a blue child, but all my dogs that have passed away has always hurt. But the ones that have hurt the most, that is still hurts to the core, is Rocky and Bailey.
Mm. See, that's me. I've owned dogs all my life, but I've readily admitted that in the past I treated dogs like dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well, everybody did. Everybody had them outdoors in dog houses and chained up, and that was just the thing then. And I think that's
we've
why
learned
me and
different.
you, yeah, and why our dogs, why we're so attached to them, because they are indoor dogs. Me and you don't even believe in that anymore. Like,
Uh-uh.
I don't think it's right for dogs to be outside. I don't.
Mm-mm.
I don't.
Mm-mm.
But
No.
I'm not gonna judge you if you do. That's you. But I think it's cruel.
Yeah. Well, like for instance, like you said, I even owning dogs as an adult, Ruger taught me how to be a good dog mom. He's the first dog. I will tell you, I've loved all my dogs before as dogs. You know what I'm saying? But when they
Yeah,
died or when they this, it's like, oh, that's sad. Cry a little bit, bury them. A month later, I was over it. This dog is going
you're
to
gonna be in a mental
destroy me.
institute.
He is
Yeah.
going to be, it's going to absolutely, positively destroy me because
And see,
he's
I
been
feel like
there.
that with Gracie too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I can honestly say it scares me because I don't know if I'll make it after he goes. I think I'll grieve myself to death.
You, I don't think you will. You will make it because you'll feel like that. And I thought that with Bailey. And I know with Gracie, like, I've been close to all of my dogs. I love every single one of my dogs. And Gracie needs me. Like, she has to have me. And even though, like, Bailey loved all of us, she was more, I think Bailey was more protective over me and JoJo. Even
Uh
though
huh.
she loved Jason, she was always up his butt and stuff like that as well. But Gracie, because of the type of dog she is, she has to have me. And I've
Yeah.
never had a dog need me as much as she does.
Yeah.
So everything I do, it's like how everything I live, eat and breathe is for JoJo and
Yeah.
Jason. It's the same with Gracie because even though she can't talk, she's a child of mine.
Yeah.
And I do anything like she don't feel good, I'm running to the vet. I've called you and I'm like, oh my God, ask Cece what does she think, and and Cece will calm me down and be like, I think she'll be okay, but keep an eye on it, da 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 da. And I know that's how you are with Ruger. Like Ruger, he's your kid. He's another son.
Yeah.
Like he just can't
I'll
talk,
be
but he's
honest with
another
you.
son.
The person I've closest to me that I've lost in my life is my dad. But I'm going to tell you plain out, that's going to hurt me worse to lose him than my dad. That sounds awful. I know it sounds awful. I
It
get it.
don't.
I
It
get it.
doesn't. It
You know,
doesn't.
somebody would be
That
like, "You
doesn't
gonna put a
because
dog's life above your own father?" It's not like that. It's like, again, my dad was my dad. Ruger's my child. He's my child. You can't convince me he didn't
yeah,
come out of my womb. I'm just gonna tell you, I love him that much.
right.
You know.
But I think it's bullshit when people say that, when they're like, it's just a dog. Bitch, it's a dog to you, but it's not a dog to us. And I say that because like you said, that is your child. Your dad has been passed away for how many years now?
Since 2001, so
The,
23
the,
years.
23 years, and Ruger is in the now. You know what I mean? Like every grief is different, but to sit there and for somebody to be like, oh my God, you're grieving more over your dog than you are your dad. That's not wrong. It's your emotions. It's how you feel. It's your pet. That is a life.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
dog is a life. It is a soul. They just have four legs and a tail. And but you think about it, so do we. We got arms and legs. Put us on all four. We look like dogs. We might not have a long tail to wag, but we got an ass to shake, and we're just
Exactly.
vocal. They're not. They're vocal with their barking and whining, but it's a life. It's a life with a soul.
I don't know what we're gonna do, girl. I'm gonna tell you when the day
We're gonna be
comes.
there for each other.
I'm gonna have an army of people around me because I'm telling you, I already know me. I just
Girl, it's okay. I know I'm ready to cook up a batch of sweet potatoes and just come your way and stay with you for like 2 or 3 days.
keep him fucking sweet potatoes. No,
Y'all been get her to try them one day. I promise I am.
no
I
sweet
promise I
potatoes.
am.
No sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, I
But
hope y'all have
it's
enjoyed
sad to
this
think about your
podcast.
dogs dying,
I know, but we hope you've enjoyed this
but
podcast.
they
Let us
got
know.
years left.
How do you feel about your dogs? How do you feel about the cost of ownership? Whether it be financial, whether it be sacrifice, whether it be emotional, what sacrifices and what cost do you have for your pets? We would love to hear from you in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell here on YouTube. Look for us on any podcast channel every Tuesday and Friday at 11 p.m. And hit us up on bridgetandhollygmail.com if you have any questions or concerns. Anyhow, love y'all. Bye.
Yes. Love you. Take care of your pets.
Bye.